Okay, real talk. When was the last time you kissed someone? Now here's a weirder question. Did you ever stop to think that kissing might not be a human instinct at all? That it's actually something we invented, copied, and then convinced ourselves was romantic? Because a huge chunk of ancient humans never kissed. Not once. Not ever. And when you find out why, you're going to look at your last makeout session a little differently. Let's start with something that should honestly break your brain a little. Anthropologists studying cultures around the world found something shocking. Out of 168 cultures studied, only 46% showed any evidence of romantic kissing. That's less than half. Meaning for most of human history, in most parts of the world, kissing on the mouth simply wasn't a thing people did. Not because they were prudish, not because they didn't love each other, they just never invented it. Which honestly raises the question, what were they doing instead? Because trust me, they were doing plenty. So if it's not universal, where did it even come from? The earliest confirmed written evidence of kissing comes from ancient India, around 1500 BCE, in Vedic Sanskrit texts. And no, it wasn't romantic couples making out behind a tree. It was described more like a ritual, people pressing their mouths together as a form of greeting and rubbing noses, almost like inhaling each other's breath, which sounds less like a rom-com and more like a weird icebreaker at a networking event. From there, historians believe the practice slowly spread west through trade and conquest, eventually reaching ancient Greece and then the Roman Empire, where kissing exploded into an entire social system. And I mean that literally. The Romans had 3 separate categories of kissing. Osculum, a kiss on the cheek for friends. Basium, a kiss on the lips for, let's say, closer friends. And Civolium, a deep, passionate kiss, reserved for lovers. Basically, ancient Rome invented the concept of friend zone versus something more, one kiss category at a time. But here's where it gets interesting, because not every ancient civilization got the memo. In many isolated hunter-gatherer societies, kissing on the lips was either rare or completely non-existent. Anthropologist William Jankowiak studied this extensively and found several cultures where mouth-to-mouth kissing simply wasn't part of romantic or sexual bonding at all. Instead, people expressed affection through touch, through smell, through closeness. In some cultures, people would press their faces together and breathe each other in instead of kissing, which, if you think about it, is basically the original version of smelling your partner's hoodie when they're not around, except way less socially acceptable at brunch. Now here's a theory that's going to make total sense the moment I say it. Some researchers believe kissing didn't start as romance at all. It may have originated from a much more practical, honestly kind of gross source. Mothers pre-masticating food for their babies. That means chewing food up and passing it mouth to their infant, similar to what some birds still do today. Over time, that mouth-to-mouth contact for feeding may have evolved into an act associated with intimacy, closeness, and trust, which means somewhere in human history, kissing may have started as baby food delivery and ended up as the entire plot of every teen movie ever made. Evolution really said, let's turn feeding time into a whole genre. And speaking of biology, here's the part that gets genuinely fascinating. When you kiss someone, your body is doing way more than being romantic. It's collecting data. Saliva exchange allows your immune system to sample another person's biological information. Some scientists believe this might even be an evolutionary way of testing genetic compatibility, essentially your body running a background check before things get serious. So next time someone says a kiss felt like chemistry, congratulations. That's not a metaphor. Your microbiome is out here doing due diligence. But since kissing wasn't universal, ancient people who didn't do it still had extremely elaborate ways of expressing intimacy. In parts of the Pacific Islands, and among some Inuit communities, people practiced what's now casually called the Eskimo kiss, rubbing noses together while breathing in each other's scent. It wasn't a substitute for kissing. It was its own complete form of affection, just as intimate, just as bonding, just without the lip contact. Meanwhile, in other cultures, people expressed closeness through prolonged eye contact, gentle touching of foreheads, or literally just standing close enough to share body heat, which honestly still works today. Ask anyone who's ever hugged someone they liked a little too long in a cold parking lot. Here's where things get even weirder. Some historians argue that mouth-to-mouth kissing wasn't just absent in certain cultures. It was actively avoided due to hygiene concerns. Ancient dental health, remember our last video, was not exactly a Colgate commercial in every part of the world. In some societies, mouths were associated with bacteria, sickness, or even spiritual impurity, which meant kissing wasn't romantic. It was borderline reckless. So while some ancient couples were out here inventing 3 different categories of kissing in Rome, other ancient couples were quietly thinking, absolutely not. Keep your mouth bacteria to yourself. And this is where I need you to really sit with something. For most of human history, romantic connection did not require lips touching lips. Love existed, attraction existed, passion existed. It just expressed itself through different physical rituals, depending on where you were born. Which means kissing isn't some deep primal instinct hardwired into every human on Earth. It's a cultural habit that spread, evolved, and eventually became so normalized that most of us assume it's just naturally human. It's not. It's learned. So the next time you kiss someone, or even just think about the last time you did, know that you're not participating in some ancient universal ritual. You're participating in something that started as a mix of ritual greeting, baby feeding, immune system testing, and eventually turned into one of the most iconic gestures of human affection. Kissing didn't always exist, but somehow it became one of the most human things we do. If this made you rethink your last first kiss, that's exactly what it was supposed to do. Subscribe for more videos that dig into the weird, hidden history behind the things you do without ever asking why.